Hey guys, today we are going to be talking about some of the most unique fragrances, at least in my opinion, that I have in my collection. So if you're interested, then please keep on watching.
One look and I breathe.
Okay guys, so today I have pulled, about 6 fragrances. 6 fragrances from my collection that, in my opinion, they stand out. At least to me, they're a little bit different. They have different scent profile than some of the other fragrances in my collection, which of course, they all have a different scent profile, right? Unless I specifically bought fragrances that are inspired maybe by others. But these fragrances really stand out to me. So we're going to talk about those. But before we get into that, to my returning subscribers, hey guys, welcome back. To my new subscribers, or if you are new here on my channel, hey, my name is Sunny. Here on my channel, we talk about primarily fragrance, things that are fragrant, so all things that smell good. We may throw in a little this, a little that, a little something for everyone, or just whatever I decide to talk about. If you have not done so, please consider hitting that subscribe button, turning on your post notification bell now that you have crossed over to the sunny side. Please go ahead and drop some comments below. Would love to get to know you. Go ahead and drop your comment. Yeah, go ahead and drop your comment, but go ahead and drop your scent of the day. Share with me your most unique fragrance that you have in your collection. Would love to hear that as well. Okay, guys, so let's jump into it. So guys, there is a fragrance. So the first one I'm going to share with you is one that I actually ordered. It was blind. And I wanted a gourmand. So a lot of times when I think of a gourmand, I think about caramel, I think about sweet, I think about vanilla, creamy, just fluffy and all the things, right? But we know that gourmand doesn't always mean necessarily in our terms of what we think about. We think about super sweet, sticky, icky, yicky, yummy, 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 yummy. And gourmand simply means food, right? Okay, so it could be food, it can be chocolate, it can be raisins, it could be jalapenos, it could be anything food related, right? And so this particular fragrance, it is very complex, okay? So the first fragrance that I'm going to share with you on today, it is called Fusion Sucré Clair. And this particular fragrance, it's not new. I believe this was released in 2012, so it's not a new fragrance. So it's Fusion Sucré Clair, and it is by Majid Bakali, okay? And this fragrance, in my opinion, it's very complex. I will say that this fragrance for about 2 years, and you can see there is literally not a dent in this, not really at all. I've only sprayed it a few times, okay? Now, I will say that over the past couple years of having this fragrance, my nose has developed, and the fragrance actually really isn't bad. I actually think that I probably enjoy this fragrance. This fragrance makes me think of autumn. It makes me think of fall, crisp leaves, the change of colors. It makes me think of orange and tan and burgundy. If a scent had a color, that's what this makes me think of. It makes me think of sitting by the fireplace and leather boots. Not that it smells like leather, because it doesn't, but I'm just telling you what comes to mind when I smell this fragrance. It just makes me think of fall. It makes me think of autumn. The main accords to this fragrance, it's a white floral, warm, spicy, vanilla. There's tuberose. It's sweet, it's powdery, it's fruity, coffee, aromatic, ambery type of a scent profile. Now, I am going to tell you, I gotta look up the notes to this fragrance, because if I can remember, this fragrance, when it comes to the notes of this fragrance, it is a very complex, okay? Very complex. And I guess that's why when I first sprayed and I first got my nose on this fragrance, I was just like, what? I was like, I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I was like, I'm looking for a gourmand, and I'm just like, what kind of gourmand is this? Okay. And so I didn't really understand this fragrance. It just didn't resonate with me. But I can appreciate the complexity and the scent profile of this fragrance. Now, I will tell you, it is not for the faint of heart. This, and I purchased this as a blind buy, and it was, I think this fragrance was around $280, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that because I might be making that up, but I'm pretty sure it was around $280. This is not a fragrance that you blind buy, not at all, okay? So you'll understand when I go over the scent profile with you. So scent profile or notes to this fragrance. So at the top, we have coffee, there's rhubarb, coriander, black currant, clementine, and bergamot. Okay, so that within itself is a bit complex. Okay, coffee, rhubarb, coriander, black currant, clementine, and bergamot. So we've got coffee and rhubarb, but then you throw in citrus and coriander, black currant. Okay, so when you're thinking about coriander, you're thinking about like parsley type of a scent profile, spices, right? That's what you're thinking about. So that's what we have at the top. And of course, clementine is like an orange, and then the bergamot's like a lemon, and then you throw coffee and rhubarb in there. And then of course your black currant. In the mid, we have tuberose, gardenia. There's a bread note in there. Bread, what does bread smell like in fragrance? Fig, which I actually love a fragrance with a fig note. There's clove, so there's another spice in there. And then you've got orange blossom and you have jasmine. So you've got your florals in there in addition to your spices, your coffee, your fig, your clove, your bread. And then at the base, you have vanilla. You have Canadian fir. You have Tulu balsam, benzoin, heliotrope, musk, patchouli, cedar, and ambergris. Okay, so you've got vanilla, which is great. Canadian fir, that's like woody, mossy type of a scent profile. Your Tulu balsam, which is more of like a musky, ambery, animalic type of a smell. So in this one, I would say you get it is a little bit animalic, just slightly, but not like animalic that's just like ew, that just really grosses you out. And then you've got the benzoin, heliotrope. Now, so you get it, right? You get it. You get the complexity of this particular fragrance. Now, all in all, with all of that being said, what does this fragrance smell like? If I could describe this fragrance, what I get from it: spicy, warm, sweet, floral, slightly woody, earthy. Okay, I don't get that gourmand bread note. I don't really get that. I don't really get much of the fig. And again, I am a fig fan. I would tell you this fragrance is not for the faint of heart, but in terms of the sake, for the sake of this video, it is one of the most unique fragrances that I have in my collection. Again, this is not for the faint of heart, and this is not, I repeat, not a safe blind buy. As much as I love blind buying and love just the surprise of it all, the wow factor, the just aha moment, the moment that I opened this was like, more like, what? Like, I was confused. It was not aha. It was not wow. It was like, what am I smelling? Okay. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the fragrance. It's like an art. It's art. Okay. It is art. That's what this is. So again, this is Fusion Sucre Claire. Fusion Sucré Clair. And this is Fusion Sucré Clair, and it is by Majad Bukhali. The next fragrance that I am going to share with you that I feel is very unique. Now, this one is very special to me, and I kind of hold on to this fragrance, and it is by the house of Fuege 1833, and this is Le Cativa. La Cativa. Guys, this is a beautiful, gorgeous fragrance, and I honestly don't really hear a lot of people talk about the house of Fuege 1833, but La Cativa 1833. So this is a fruity, floral type of a scent profile. Main accords to this fragrance: vanilla, musky, fruity, powdery, soft, spicy, sweet. It says it's animalic, which I don't really get that. Woody, floral type of a fragrance. Now guys, this for me, when I first smelled this, I thought that this was absolutely beautiful. Not too much, not too much. Oh, this is a gorgeous fragrance. Very, very unique in my opinion. It's so pretty, and again, you've got the sweetness there, the florals. When it comes to the notes of this fragrance, at the top there's musk, and it's very simple. It's not complex like the other one, but when I tell you, it's not a basic fragrance. Even though the notes are very simplistic, this is not a basic smelling fragrance. So when it comes to the notes, there's musk at the top, there's vanilla, and there's black currant. Now, what stands out to me the most in this fragrance is going to be the black currant and the vanilla, in my opinion. And actually all of them, because the musk really gives it that airiness, but the vanilla sweetens it up. The black currant gives it the fruitiness. But when I tell you it is blended to perfection, it really is. And I feel that this fragrance is very, very elevated. For the notes to be so very simplistic, I feel that this is definitely a refined, elevated. It smells expensive. It is expensive. I mean, it's not, I don't like saying fragrances are expensive, because I feel like we're like, yeah, it was very expensive. It was very expensive. I don't like saying that. I don't. I like to be more, I guess, unassuming, if that makes sense. Just like people, and I'm just saying this for the sake of what I'm talking about. Like I have a boat, right? But nobody knows. I have a boat company, business. I don't tell people that. They're like, how you gonna get people on the boat if you don't tell people about it? Because I don't like people to know that I have a boat. My boat, some company is called Sunny Boat Life. But I never tell anybody that I have a company called Sunny Boat Life. Unassuming, because people just ask you, like, what do you do? And I feel like people ask you, like, what do you do, to put a title or your status or your social economic status. And I don't need to know all that about me. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to know. I don't need to know all of that. So I'm just sunny. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sunny. That's who I am. Just laid back. I'm just sunny. Just here to radiate positive vibes. That's it. So anyway, Fuege 1833 La Cativa. Fresh, elevated fragrance, even though the note structure is simplistic. I feel that this is perfect for a formal event, a date night, a night on the town. Very sophisticated, very classy, very, very elevated fragrance. I feel that it stands out. There is nothing in my collection that I have that smells anything like Le Cativa by Fuege 1833. For the longest time, I had to search. Every time I talk about this fragrance, I had to search high and low to even find out the scent profile, the notes to this fragrance. I'm trying to remember where I even came across this fragrance. I don't remember if it was on maybe Amazon or like TikTok. And honestly, what drew me to this bottle was the color of the bottle. So here's the bottle, okay? And this fragrance is called Indulge, and it is by Arid Al Zafran, okay? And this is a very, very affordable fragrance. And when I tell you, I never hear anybody talk about this. I do not hear anyone talk about this fragrance. Now, guys, this fragrance, when I first got it, I was just like, OMG, it smells so good to me. This fragrance smells so good. And again, this is another fragrance that there is nothing, because I have so many fragrances that I have in my collection, and I'm like, this smells similar to this, or this smells similar to this. And even though the DNA may be different, it still smells similar, especially with a lot of my oud fragrances. They smell so similar. But I don't have anything in my collection that smells like this, and it is so affordable. It smells amazing. So this is a white floral, amber, tuberose, sweet, again, animalic. That seems to be something that's in common with the past fragrances. But when I think of animalic, I think of just like, ew. But I don't get animalic. Green, woody, floral, powdery, patchouli scent profile. Now, when I smell this fragrance, this reminds me of, honestly, this fragrance to me, I could smell like a sweet, fruity bread. It smells like bread to me. Like a fruity, doughy bread. Not really like a pastry, but like a, yeah, like I could see like a bread note. I could see a bread note in here, but not necessarily the other one. But when it comes to the notes of this fragrance, at the top, you're going to get cactus flower, neroli, tuberose in the mid, magnolia and jasmine in the mid. And at the base, you're going to get amber, brown sugar, patchouli, and cashmere. So the bread that I'm smelling, or that note that I'm smelling, must be the brown sugar along with the cashmere and cactus flower, possibly. Or the brown sugar with the florals, maybe. But guys, when I tell you this smells so good, it is like a elevated floral with that brown sugar, the amber, the cashmere. It is so smooth. This smells so good. It really does. Yeah, it is just like a different spin on a floral fragrance. So if you are a floral lover and you're a gourmand lover as well, you will definitely love this fragrance, because it is like just a rich, smooth, velvety, decadent floral fragrance. This is a Noun, and this is from the house of Arid Al Zafran. The next fragrance that I'm going to share with you is one that is very unique in my collection, in my opinion. And every time I wear this fragrance, I get tons of compliments. Now, I just did a video on a compliment magnet, and I will leave the link up here for you guys. It was a fragrance. I got so many compliments, and it's interesting because I wore that fragrance over the weekend. Last weekend, today is Friday that I'm recording. I wore it a week ago, and my husband said just yesterday, he's like, I can still smell that fragrance in my car. So I leave the link to that video up here. This fragrance, I get tons of compliments every time I wear it. Now, I will tell you up front, and well, actually, let me tell you the fragrance first. And it is Ghost in the Shell, and it is by Etat Libre de Orange, okay? Ghost in the Shell. Now, one thing I will tell you about this fragrance up front. When I tell you I spray, and spray, I overspray. When I tell you I overspray this fragrance, look at the dent in here. I apply this fragrance heavy because, I mean, other people may be able to smell me, but I got to smell me first. First and foremost, I got to be able to smell me. Okay, then I know everybody else can smell me. But I get so many compliments when I wear this fragrance, and this one, now I'm not gonna promise you that I'm gonna be able to properly pronounce the notes to this fragrance, because the notes to this particular fragrance, if I remember, are very unique and I can't pronounce them. I'm just gonna be straight up honest. But I will tell you what the accords are to this particular fragrance. And in this fragrance, you're going to get citrus, a little bit lactonic. So you're going to get some creaminess, definitely lactonic, floral, white florals, this aldehydic, those aldehydes in there. That's what I can't pronounce. It's sweet. There's pear, there's musk, there's woody. It's a little bit green. But guys, the aldehydes with that lactonic note, the white florals, the woodiness in there. Guys, this fragrance smells so good. And I think what makes this fragrance so unique to my collection is because of the pear, the lactonic note, the greenness. I just don't have anything quite like this in my collection. Now, when it comes to the notes of this fragrance, guys, I warned you in advance. At the top, it's got aqua, so an aqua note, okay, aqua water type of a note. There's ouzo. There is a, let me see what this note is. There is a natural synthetic note in here, which is called hexyl excitate, whatever that is. I told you guys I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. There is a milk note in here. That's that lactonic note. There is, yes, a skin note. Skin, okay? So whoever's skin, because everybody's skin smells different. Everybody has their own unique scent, right? So skin. There's jasmine. There's mugain. There is orchinox, which is, again, I believe, another synthetic note. There is vinyl guaiacol. I probably pronounced that incorrectly, which is another natural synthetic note, which provides a vanilla or clove accord, a little smoky, a little spicy. And then there's moss, okay? And then the other, let me see, the other note that is a, oh, okay, so the other natural synthetic note is just a popular perfume note, okay? So again, very interesting note structure, very interesting, very different note profile or scent profile when you consider the skin note, when you consider the synthetic notes in there, the milk, the ouzo, the aqua note. So again, nothing like what I have in my collection. Very, very unique. But when I tell you I get tons of compliments whenever I wear this fragrance, again, I would say that this is more of a skin scent. More of a skin scent, but I overspray until I can smell it. And typically this is one that I throw in my purse with me so that I can reapply it throughout the day. Because again, I go nose blind to this, okay? And it may be something like a BR 540 where people go nose blind and, you know, people can still smell it. But for me, honestly, I want to be able to still smell my fragrance. And so this is one I definitely take with me on the go and I reapply it. And so again, this is The Ghost in the Shell, and it is by Etat Libre d'Orange. Another fragrance that is very unique in my collection that I hold near and dear to my heart. And I would probably say this is one of, I have to think. This is probably one of the first niche fragrances that I truly, truly fell in love with. And I will love it to this day. I will repurchase this fragrance probably time and time again. And I'm at a point in stage where I'm really not into repurchasing fragrances. But this one is one, I have a couple that I truly, truly love. And this is one that I love and will repurchase. And this has been out for a bit as well. And it is Sunshine Woman, and it is by Indulge. Guys, I absolutely love and adore Sunshine Woman. Sunshine Woman and Beach Hut. You guys already know that I've talked about my most recent purchase from them, but Sunshine Woman is probably at the top of my list when it comes to Indulge fragrances. I love Sunshine Woman so much. Sunshine Woman is a fruity floral, white floral, vanilla, almond, spicy, woody, nutty, sweet, lactonic type of a fragrance, which I don't really get that. When I smell Sunshine Woman, I get a sweet, slightly floral, woody, smoky type of a scent profile. In my opinion, smoky, woody scent type of a profile. Okay, so that's what I get to my nose. When it comes to the notes of this fragrance, at the top it says almond. I don't get almond from this. I really don't. I never have gotten almond from this because actually I am not the biggest fan of almond. In the mid, there's blackcurrant. Dang, I didn't put it to my lips. That's how I'm trying. Blackcurrant, maybe I should just get a tester strip. Blackcurrant, Davana. In the mid, there's osmanthus, vanilla, magnolia, jasmine. And at the base, there's white tobacco. I know I got some smokiness in there. White tobacco. Let's see. Papyrus, patchouli, and cade oil. Guys, it smells so good. Just divine. Divine. My first experience with this was actually from a inspired fragrance from Layered. When I first got into fragrances some years ago, and it was from the house of Layered. Is it Layered or Be Layered? Layered. And I got the inspired version. And sometimes, like I said, I'll get the inspired version and then I will get the original. So, I know there are a lot of people out there that are not into inspired fragrance houses, but inspired fragrance houses, I think, are actually great because one, it gives the option and the affordability to, purchase fragrances if you can't afford them, right? Because not always can we afford a $200-$300 bottle of fragrance? Nor do we always want to spend money on a $200, $300, $400, $500 bottle of fragrance, even if we can't afford it. The other thing is that it gives us an opportunity because I do not like those little bitty, when you give me a little bitty sample bottle like this big, that's not giving me an opportunity to really test the fragrance, right? So I feel like a inspired fragrance house really gives me an opportunity to at least get a good idea, even if it's not a exact, one-to-one. It gives me a good idea of what that fragrance actually smells like, okay? So that was my first experience with Indulge, and I ended up buying the original Indulge fragrance, right? So this is a beautiful fragrance, very different than all the fragrances that I have in my collection, and again, it's something that I will always keep in my collection. So again, Indulge, and it is Sunshine Woman, and one that I will always keep and have in my collection because it is different, and there's no other fragrance in my collection that smells remotely close to this. And last but certainly not least, this one too is near and dear to my heart, as I have spoken about this. I haven't talked about this in a while because I talked about Dapper's version of this fragrance. This is near and dear to my heart, and I love it so much, and It is very different than any of the fragrances that I have in my collection. So for Dapper to do their version or their spin on this fragrance, I thought was amazing, because I don't know anyone else who has done any of the fragrances from this house. And that is the house of Kriegler. And this is Abracadabra 221. Abracadabra 221. I was in Chicago and I went to the Kriegler store in Chicago, and I got one complimentary spray of this. Now, at that time, I wasn't prepared, okay? I was not prepared because I had already done some shopping, and my husband was with me. I looked at him, he looked at me. I looked at him, he looked at me. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm walking out without this fragrance. But I was determined and actually I'm really glad that I got that spray and I was able to walk around, because that's one thing that I do so often is spraying a fragrance on a tester strip but not getting it on skin, and actually getting home with the fragrance and I'm like, that smells completely different than what I expected. But I sprayed this on skin and walked around downtown Chicago, and the breeze, and I was like, oh, I have to have this. Like, I have to have it. I have to have it. I want it. I really wanted to go back and get it then, but my husband, he wasn't having it. And honestly, I joke about that because I'm sure a lot of people think, because I'll do posts like, my husband, blah, 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 blah. Actually, my husband doesn't buy my fragrances. Every fragrance that I have, I purchase myself. I think my husband bought me a fragrance one time, which was, what did he get me? Because he doesn't know, and that's okay. I understand. Fragrance isn't his thing. Like, my husband's thing is like stocks and bonds, right? Investments. Fragrance is not his thing, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with it. So he bought me, let me not laugh, because he he watches my videos, okay? He's my biggest supporter and I love him. I appreciate it. He bought me Michael Kors Gorgeous. And I was like, I appreciated it. I was like, babe, thank you. But he upped it a little bit, because he bought me more recently. He did buy me Black Magenta by DS and Durga. So he started elevating his game. So that was good. And he bought me Scarlet Poppy by Joe Malone. So I was like, babe, you know what? I was like, I got my fragrances, okay? So honestly, guys, when I joke about my husband and my fragrances, I purchased my own fragrances with my own coins, okay? I do go to work. I do got a job, okay? I work. Work. But Abracadabra 221. Again, when I smelled this, I fell in love with this fragrance, right? And this is a beautiful fragrance. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Nothing like it in my collection, guys. This is a floral, warm, spicy fragrance. But you get some sweetness in here as well. Guys, this fragrance has aldehydes, bergamot, some pepper, lily of the valley, hawthorn, sandalwood, vanilla. You can definitely smell the vanilla, tonka bean, and white musk. Now, I know the scent profile, the notes don't sound extremely complex. And quite honestly, if I had to say, because I couldn't find this on like Fragrantica. It used to be on there, I thought, but I couldn't find it anymore. And so, quite honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that there are actually more notes to this fragrance, and they're just not all listed, if I can be completely honest. But guys, this is an absolutely gorgeous, stunning fragrance. I don't know if you've ever had an opportunity, or if you do have the opportunity, if you haven't, to go into a Kriegler boutique. It's a whole experience. It is a elevated fragrance experience, is what I like to call it. It's just stunning, and they have some really beautiful fragrances. But again, this is very, very unique. Dapper released this fragrance, and I purchased it the first time they released it. I didn't think they were coming back out with it. It was few years ago when I purchased it. They just recently released it and it was like limited. And I haven't been on Dapper's website in a little bit. Last time I checked, they only had 4. And I got a 100 ml bottle. Yes, I did, because this is a $770 bottle of fragrance. I'm going to check Dapper's website and just see if they have it. Okay guys, so I did just check Dapper's website and they do still have it. Their version of Abracadabra, and for a 50 ml it is $65. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you're looking for an affordable version, they do have it on their website. And I did order, I have 2 of them. So what I like to do, quite honestly, is I will layer them. I layer Dapper with the original Abracadabra to make it last longer. So there you have it. Don't say I didn't share a little gem with you guys. But again, those are some of, in my opinion, some of my most unique fragrances that I have in my collection. Drop in the comments below, what are some of your most unique fragrances that you have in your collection? If you have not done so, please click on that subscribe button, turn on your post notification bell, and please continue watching. I would love for you guys to see some of my other videos. Guys, again, come on over to the sunny side. We have fun here. We have fun here. I'm going to keep creating content and uploading more videos. Let me know if there's something specific that you would love to see. Let me know. Let me know. Until next time, guys. Peace.